What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of
Whatever
Rambling
this is. Listen to our nonsense.
Yeah, our sort of guide on playing the game that we all seem to love for some crazy reason.
Yes.
And the community that is Warhammer, which we love probably more than...
It's a great community, to be fair.
Yeah, we love it, don't we? That's why we're here.
It is.
So yeah, today's episode, we are just going to really just break down the missions, really.
Yeah.
Like the whole nuance of 10th, which is a completely different to 9th.
It is.
Almost a throwback to 8th edition. A little bit with the old ITC. A little bit.
Yeah.
Tiny bit. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because you are potentially a new player to 10th edition.
It is.
And that doesn't matter to you anymore. They're old editions that we reminisce about that really doesn't fucking matter.
No.
So we will crack on with 10th edition, and the big changes now, obviously, is you draw 3 cards, which is your primary mission, your mission rule, and your deployment zones. Yeah. So we're just going to do a quick breakdown of those today. And just remember to sort of read the rules. And I know that sounds stupid because you do. You read the cards, but like the nuance of the cards, I think, are important.
Going to events, people don't necessarily... going to and this is events specifically, they don't read the mission rule because it's written there on the thing, and they just go, "Oh, we're playing that one. We'll put it in the app." Yeah, or the TO's got the cards or whatever, and they just put it up and it's deployed, and away you go. Yeah. So it's if you haven't got a deck, get the deck. If you haven't got the app, Tabletop Battles app,
really
fantastic because it does break it all
That's
down.
A really good shout out, actually. Yeah, I mean, we all use it now.
Yeah.
It takes, like, when I go, especially to an event, I try and minimize how much stuff I need around me to remember to do. Yeah. So, as I say, with the app, it's great. You just go, oh, look, I've scored that. Bang.
Yeah.
And I haven't got to think about it again. Yep. So, that's a really good point. Yeah. It helps a lot, I think, with new players as well now. Because, I mean, old editions, we didn't have all this.
No, pen and paper.
Yeah. So, apps are great. Was it Tabletop?
Tabletop Battles.
Yeah, it's done by... Goonhammer.
Yeah.
So... really good app. Free shout out.
Plug.
Only a small thing. It's not a big business at all, is it, Goonhammer?
No, not at all.
You know, even though we have been featured a couple of times. But yeah, so we're going to just break down, really. We're going to probably focus more on the ones, because there's some that are really simple.
We'll talk through all of them.
We will talk through all of them.
There are going to be some that are going to crop up and you're going to go...
It's the wording on stuff, isn't it? So... what are we going to start with, Simon?
We'll start basic easy. Take and hold.
So you'll probably see on the battle reports quite often that we go, oh yeah, we're taking take and hold. Oh. That might not make sense to you.
No, it doesn't make sense to a lot of us, to be fair.
Yeah,
one of us going, you scored. What? All right, scored.
Okay, cool, I got points now. Yeah. So yeah, take and hold. Run us through it, Simon.
So, literally, in the second, third, and fourth battle round, at the end of each command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 VP for each objective marker they control, up to a max of 15.
Yeah, so nice and simple. Turn 2 onwards. So, as you probably know if you've played the game, you don't score any primary in turn 1.
No.
And that is with every mission. You're never going to score primary turn 1. What you might be looking to do in turn 1 is potentially get yourself ready to score in turn 2, because you're always going to score these points in your command phase.
Yes. Yeah.
So
your home objective is generally fairly safe.
Yes. Yeah. So you're going to want to potentially be on the 3 objectives. So in the next turn, you might get your 15 points because you're going to be getting 5 for each one. So
you want to overload threats as well. So you can try and potentially, if it's a 5 objective mission, go take the 3 in no man's land with the hope of holding all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But with a view to take at least 2. So you're going to get 10 VP.
Yeah, I think 2 is always a... So with primary for me, it will be like your home's always you get guarantee, it's safe. Yeah, and then you kind of want to take like a dedicated one on the board where you go, I want that one in no man's. I want that one in no man's land, and then potentially contest a third. Yeah, I think that's always a safe way to go. Yeah. If you overextend, you're going to get hurt. Yes, so you want to sort of secure one in no man's land and then contest another one. I think that's always a safe way to play it.
Definitely.
So nice simple start.
Yep. But obviously in the 5th battle round, the player who went first scores in the start of the command phase, and then the player who goes second scores at the end of the turn.
Which is big, because effectively
end of turn scoring is big.
Yeah, because if you still got units on the table, you can just go jump on them objectives, baby.
Yeah. Well, literally, turn, if you're going last, at the end of turn 4, if you've gone second, just jump off those objectives. Because
it doesn't really matter.
No, because you then want to jump on them at the end of the game anyway.
Yeah, so you can start getting yourself ready to score at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point.
So that's taken hold. And then we've got Vital Ground.
Okay.
Which is you remove the objective markers in No Man's Land.
Yeah, so this is where...
This is where you read the cards. Setting up the battle for remove the objective marker in No Man's Land that's closest to the centre of the battlefield.
Yeah.
So you end up with just 4 objectives on the table.
Exactly. So you're going to be removing the centre objective. Yep. So again, opposite to taking hold.
Yep.
That is now gone completely. So you're only playing the game with 4 objectives now.
Yeah, and the points are a lot worse, a lot less on this one.
They're 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're now worth only 4 each. So again, this is where
the one in your deployment zone is worth 2.
Yeah.
The ones in in No Man's Land are worth 5.
Oh, sorry.
And your opponent's is 6.
Yeah. So again, just like us, make sure you read the cards. Yeah. Because like taking hold, you just get 5 for everything.
Yeah.
Well, now you're 1 less objective on the table, and they're all worth different points.
Yeah.
Again, this is why we say actually download the app, because it will guide you through that on the app when you put it into the game. And so when you're scoring, it will go home objective, no man's objective, and then opponent's
deployment zone. Yeah.
So again, the app's really helpful for that. It just takes a little bit of brain power away that you don't need to be using.
Yeah.
Because you're not writing it down. Yeah. You can literally go, there's a unit in the middle. Great. I get 5 points for that.
Yeah.
You just click that button.
Yeah.
Done. So again, another little nuance. So because a lot of the missions, the point value for primary is so different.
Yeah, massively.
Just double check what you're reading.
Yeah. And one that doesn't crop up very often, supply drop. So at the start of the battle, players randomly select 2 different objective markers in No Man's Land. The first selected is the Alpha, and the second is the Omega. So at the start of the 4th battle round, the Alpha disappears, and the start of the 5th battle round, the Omega disappears. No, sorry.
It stays. It's the opposite one. See, now this
all objective markers apart from Omega stays.
Yeah, so I've played this at events, and I've seen other tables around me where they're removing those 2 at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But again, it's literally because you're trying to get ready for a game. You skim read it, and your opponent will do it as well. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, like if you've played the game that way and you both agreed on it, then I don't actually personally see a problem with it. Like, because you both know at the end of the game that's what's happening.
Yes.
Where if it was the other way around, where one player's going, well, hang on a minute, that one is supposed to be going, and you personally have loaded up because you thought that one was staying.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you've not read the card right, and now you're going to feel bad because you've basically screwed up.
Yeah.
So you just got to double check yourself on that. So watch out for supply drop. It can catch you out if you don't remember, because you're going to be putting tokens on these objectives, thinking, they go through and disappear. They're not.
Yeah.
One of them is staying. Yeah. Is staying until the end of the game.
Yes. So second and third battle rounds, they're worth 5 VP. In the 4th battle round, obviously one of them disappears, and they're 8 VP for each objective marker control in No Man's Land. And the 5th battle round, they're worth 15 VP.
And do you score on your home objectives?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't score your home objectives.
No, you just went for No Man's Land.
So again, it's something you've got to look out for.
You can literally just disappear from it.
You don't need the home objective because actually it means nothing.
Yeah.
You're literally just fighting over the middle objectives and your opponent's one.
Yeah, so in that mission, you're not worried about scoring at home. You're just worried about denying your opponent points for if they get capture an outpost.
Yes, yeah.
Which is a secondary one.
You've still got to be wary of it. But you're not
worried about it for primary. So you can put a lesser unit on there. Cool. But next we got Purge the Foe.
Oh, personal.
So that's ITC back in the day.
Yeah.
8th edition. So hold 1, kill 1. Hold more, kill more.
Yeah. So to break that down, in this one, if you control 1 objective, you're going to get 4 VP. But then if you control more than your opponent does,
you're going to get 8 VP.
You get 8.
Yep.
So that's nice and simple. And then in the same battle round, if you kill a unit, you get another 4 VP.
Another 4, yep.
But at the end from the start of the battle round, through your turn and your opponent's turn to the end of that battle round, if you've killed more units than your opponent, you get another 4 VP.
Yes. Yeah.
So again, that's one that can potentially catch you out.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention, because then you need to start. I get a dice.
Yeah.
And
I always mark how I've got kill tally going on.
Yeah, so I use dice.
Yeah.
It's easier for me personally, but because I don't have pen and paper anymore because I'm using the app. But I'll literally put a dice and go, right, I've killed 1 unit, bang.
Yeah.
I've killed 2 units, I've killed 3.
Yeah.
But don't forget, if you're killing stuff in your opponent's turns, so say for example you're in combat or whatever, it still counts.
Yeah.
So, and I've had it before where I've actually lost Purge because they've killed me in my turn.
Ooh.
And then they've scored more kills than I have.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, of course it does.
So don't forget you're scoring it for the whole battle round, not just your turn.
Yep. And next one, we've got priority targets. So at the end of each command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 VP for each objective marker they control up to a maximum of 10.
Again, so this one's a bit of a funny one.
It is.
Because you're only looking, so when I said
and that's in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th battle rounds. That's for both players.
Yeah. So I like I said at the start, I tend to try and make sure I've always got my home secure.
Yeah.
And then I always want to make sure I try and secure something in no man's land.
Yeah.
Well, you're only scoring the 2 throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
So realistically, you should be able to score that. But that also means there's still 2 or 3 other objectives on the table.
Yeah.
So even if you go and contest one, well, your opponent can still hold 2. So realistically, you're both going to be scoring 10 a turn.
Yes. It's when it comes to the end of the game when you score 5 VP for each objective marker you control at the end of the game.
Yeah, so then you're looking to survive long enough to then score the additional. And bear in mind, that's at the end of the battle.
Yes.
So you still score your 10 in turn 5.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the battle, so going second is really useful.
Yeah.
Because you can potentially spread out and hold objectives.
Yeah.
You score then an additional 5 for every
up to a max of
objective
15
marker.
as well.
Yeah.
So there's a potential to have a 25-point
swing in the last turn. And I've seen it happen where people have been like down and then they've just smashed primary in the last turn and they've won the game.
Yeah.
So again, that's something to look out for.
Yep. And a fairly regular one, I would say. The ritual. So you remove all the objective markers in no man's land except the one closest to the center of the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And then each player's shooting phase, the player whose turn it is can select 1 unit from their army that is not battle shocked. Key on that one. Mm-hmm. And is eligible to shoot. Until the end of that turn, that unit is not eligible to shoot or declare a charge. At the end of that turn, the player whose turn it is can set up 1 objective marker wholly within no man's land and within 1 inch of that unit, provided it can be set up exactly 9 inches from 1 other objective marker and not within 6 of any other objective markers.
Perfect. So again, this is what we're saying about wording and skim reading.
Yeah.
That particular mission, make sure you read it before you play the game.
Oh god, yeah.
Because it can be so easy to screw up on.
Yeah.
Because you're going to want to, obviously you need to be outside your deployment zone.
Yep.
Now, normally with
the way they are set, you can.
With that particular GT pack mission that GW offer, that comes on the Search and Destroy, no, not Search and Destroy, the Vanguard.
Yes. Slanty
so your deployment zone isn't clear.
No.
So actually it makes it quite difficult to know where your deployment line is.
Yeah.
Now, normally people will sort of like mark out their deployment zone at the start of the turn, the start of the battle. My advice would be leave that there.
Yeah. We actually had Crosswords, Gareth and Corda actually bought tape. We actually put tape down.
Brilliant.
Perfect on the table. It was such brilliant, right. You know.
So again, going back to like how I play the game of just trying to take elements that I don't need to overthink on.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've seen guys use lollipop sticks in God knows what, just to line it out.
Yeah.
So then when you do come round to your first turn, for example, you know where your line is and you know how far out you need to be to put that objective down.
Yeah. So the footprint of the objective can reach into your deployment zone.
Yeah, it's literally the 40 mil center base has to be outside the deployment zone. That's,
So potentially you could have a unit holding 2 objectives, one in your deployment zone and one that's actually outside the deployment zone because of the footprint.
And that's what we all tend to do in that mission, isn't it? Like literally just drop one just outside the deployment zone so it's nice and close to your home.
Yeah. But you're only scoring the ones in no man's land on that one.
Yeah.
And the 5 VP.
And again, so you're not scoring your home one.
No.
So, but there's no cap on how many objectives you can do.
No, you can. The whole battlefield can be filled as long as they're 6 inches away from each other.
Yeah, so that could be more than the standard 5 you get on the table.
I mean, I've seen some to be games, exactly 9 inches from another and not within 6.
Yeah, so I've seen some games where there's been like 5 or 6, 7 objective markers on the table. Yeah. They just keep plopping them down.
Yeah.
As long as they're not within 9 and 6, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, they can't be within 6 of a battlefield edge, can they?
No, there's
and
no.
then
There's no.
they have to be 9 inches away from each other, so you can just keep dropping them. So yeah,
no, there's no limit to where they can be placed as long as
they're 9 inches or within 9 inches, isn't it?
Yeah, within exactly. Yeah, within 9.
That's the other thing as well. It's like they can't be miles away. They have to be within 9 of each other. So you can then start daisy chaining them across the table if you want to.
Yeah, literally.
Great. Next one.
My nemesis on this one, Scorched Earth. I've been caught out with this by not reading it. Yeah, we'll talk about the card first. So from the second battle round, in each player's shooting phase, the player whose turn it is can select 1 unit from their army that is not battle shot and eligible to shoot. They cannot shoot or declare a charge. At the start of its controlling player's next command phase, if that unit is within 1 inch of an objective marker that player whose turn it is controls, that objective marker is burned and removed from the battlefield. And at the end of each command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 5 VP for each objective marker they control, up to a maximum of 10. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the battle, each objective marker that is burned gets you 5 VP. That's the ones in no man's land. And it's 10 VP if you do the one in your opponent's deployment zone.
That's burning them, isn't it?
That's burning
them. So, again, Scorched Earth, it's a bit of a funny one.
Yes.
I tend to ignore it the first couple of turns.
Yeah.
I don't tend to burn anything.
You want to score for a couple of turns.
Yeah, because if you burn it too early, all right, you get the additional 5 VP, but then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of flailing in the wind a little bit. So I tend to leave that until sort of potentially turn 3, but most likely...
if you're not doing it by turn 3, you're probably not doing it.
Yeah, and then your story on
then my story is, it was actually at Curtin GT last year against Mr. Porter, who's running his Tau. Great play, great game. Love the guy. Literally just didn't read the card properly and did it. And there's a way...
You went to burn in turn 5, didn't you?
Yeah, so you can deny your opponent doing it. You start the burn in your shooting phase. You then complete the action in your next command phase. So it gives you a chance to break it, to stop from doing the action. Yeah, and I could have won the game just by shooting or putting units onto the objective to control it.
Yeah.
But instead of worrying about trying to burn, I could have just stopped him from burning. And it's just a case of reading the card. I tried doing it on turn 5.
And then obviously you can't do it turn 5 because there's no...
So I started doing it on turn 4.
Oh.
And because my command phase then went into turn 5, it can't be completed in turn 5.
Why not?
Because it's in the 5th battle round.
It can't be done.
No.
So yeah, you're literally burning from turn 2.
2nd, 3rd, 4th battle round. You do it.
So yeah, read one.
The card.
It's a really finicky one.
It's caught me out and it's lost me a game, potentially coming 3rd at a GT. So it's silly. But anyway. And everyone's least favourite ever.
I'm glad this doesn't turn up at a lot of events.
It does every now and then. Everyone just goes, can it not come back ever again? Deploy servo skulls. For those that haven't played it, you lucky people. For those that have played it, we feel your pain. So, so objective markers start on a line in the middle of the board. The ones in the home can't be moved. But the ones in the middle of the table can be kicked like little footballs. Yeah,
you literally just kick them towards your opponent's deployment zone.
So at the end of each turn, each of these objective markers can be moved up to 6 inches in any direction by the player that controls it. When moving objective markers, they cannot end that move on top of any other objective marker or model or inside impassable parts of terrain. And 2 VP for each servo skull that is wholly within 12 inches of their opponent's deployment zone. And then if it's within 6 of their opponent's deployment zone, it's then worth 5. If it's then wholly within your opponent's deployment zone, it's worth 8. They don't stack. There was a errata on that. They changed that.
Yeah, they stopped it from stacking. But it's a funny little mission, and unfortunately, there's a lot of interaction during the game with it.
Yes, yeah.
Which means constantly moving models, which then can have some feel bads because you're trying to move an objective, but there's guys stood on it, and it's a whole thing. So yeah, just be wary of that one. Yeah. It doesn't come up very often.
No.
I can't actually remember the last time I played it at an event.
Crosswords.
Yeah, you did. I didn't go.
Just to annoy you.
Yeah, so there's a little nuanced one. Doesn't come up very often, but again just make sure you read it before you play it.
Yeah, and it's at the end of each turn. So if you're controlling it in your opponent's turn, punt it even further and score more points.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then last mission is Sites of Power.
Yeah.
Which is, I like Sights of Power, because I usually run a lot of characters.
Well, so we spoke about this in the last episode. Like, I went to an event and they had one character, which kind of screwed me over a little bit. But explain the card first.
Yeah. So the ones in No Man's Land are Sights of Power. So they're empowered by characters. So if your characters are on them, you get extra points for it, basically. And you get 3 VP for each objective mark you control, but you get an extra 3 VP if you're controlling it with a character.
Yeah, and a nice little nuance here. I don't know why people believe this for a while, but they thought the character had to do an action for it to work.
Right.
Which I guess kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
like
you're empowering.
Yeah. But it doesn't say it.
No.
So I don't know why people thought that, but you just need to literally, just need to read the card. You literally see a character that stood on the objective.
Yeah.
You can still count and play the game as normal.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little mission. It's pretty simple to be fair.
Yeah, I like Sights of Power. It's a nice little. It makes people think about how they're going to play it.
Yeah.
Because if you're relying on your characters to lead units to go and do murder,
stuff. Yeah.
You have to kind of be reserved of them and just keep them back.
Then that kind of comes back to list building, doesn't it? Like, most armies now will probably have like a couple of low knock characters or whatever,
which is great for some factions.
Yeah, work really well, and then you can just chuck them on.
It's not great for other factions. Does Chikari don't have any low knocks?
No,
we have the access to take a solitaire, but
true.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. But there are and we'll go back onto the missions now.
Yeah, mission rules. We should back through this pretty quickly.
Yeah,
mission rules. They're kind of just the side part of it, really, aren't they? A lot of them don't do a whole lot.
No.
It's mostly the primary mission where you've got a lot more interaction.
Yes.
So we come back for this one.
So sweep and clear, you basically get sticky objectives.
Yeah, so when we say sticky objectives, it effectively means you move on to an objective. Now, you'll probably see a lot of units who've got this.
Yep. Cabalite Warriors, Crew Carnivals.
If you moved on to it, in your next command phase, if you're still stood on it, it becomes sticky.
Yep.
What that means is you own that objective, you can then move off of it and it will still be yours until your opponent either takes it.
Yes.
But if no one comes and takes that objective, you don't have to be stood on it, but you will keep it and still score points.
Yeah, unless your opponent has to control it at the end of any subsequent command phase.
Yeah. So they can steal it.
They can steal it.
It's not an issue.
But if they can steal it on your, be in any command phase. So if they controlled it at the end of a fight phase, and then it went into your command phase, it's then gone.
You've then gone. Yeah. So you won't score it if they've taken it in effectively your turn or whatever. So
you can lose it in your turn. You can lose it in their turn.
Like, don't get me wrong. A lot of the time when I play that mission, it's like, cool, I've taken that. It's now not sticky, and my opponent will disagree. Because it's like, well, you can't stop me now. No. Like, you don't have anything on it. It's now just gone.
Exactly.
Like, okay, we know it's not until the command phase, but realistically, it's gone.
Yes.
So
next one, it doesn't come up much in competitive aspects. Vox Static, the command reroll stratagem and New Order stratagem both cost 2 CP to use.
Yeah. Move on.
Yeah. It doesn't come up very often.
Yeah. It's 2 lines. Secret
Intel, the next one. In this mission, in each player's command phase, the first time that player draws secondary mission cards that phase, that player can draw 1 additional secondary mission card and then discard one of their active secondary
So I've played this at events and I've seen people actually playing it wrong.
Yeah.
I've seen people
I probably have.
I've seen people playing 3 mission cards.
Yeah.
Or 3 secondary cards. And it's like, well, no, you need to discard 1.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very simple one, but at the same time, because it's simple, sometimes you just overlook it.
It works quite well with fixed secondaries.
Yeah.
Because you take your fixed secondaries and then you get the expert to be able to draw a new card.
Yeah, which is another nuance a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, you can then use this mission and go, cool, I can get extra points. Because you don't have to discard, because you don't have an extra. You can't discard any fixed.
No.
It's very clever.
So it's interesting.
It is. And next mission is Delayed Reserves. So in this mission, till the start of the 3rd battle round, each time a reserves or strategic reserves unit wishes to arrive on a battlefield, the controlling player must make a reserves roll for it. To do so, that player rolls 1d6 on a 3-up. That unit arrives on a battlefield. Otherwise, the reserves roll fails and that unit does not arrive this turn.
Yeah, that one's been annoying before.
Yeah, especially if you're a Grey Knight jumping around all over the place.
Yeah, so again, it's a really simple one. just roll the dice and hopefully
Over
you
three up.
Yeah, but then normally if you've got a lot of stuff in Deep Strike, you'll just keep rolling. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I've not seen many times where it's been like a massive hindrance to people with that one, but it doesn't come up that often.
No, it doesn't come up. Supply lines. In this mission, if a player controls the objective marker in the deployment zone at the start of their command phase, they roll 1d6 on a 4-up. That player gains 1 CP.
Yep. So I've played this one quite a few times.
Yep.
I've also actually played it wrong before, personally. I think we played it wrong on stream.
I think, the first one we did. Yeah.
The first time we did it. We're doing it for both players in every command phase. It's not. It's just in your command phase, you roll, and on a 4-up, you get an additional CP.
Yeah.
So again, just read the card, just double check that.
Yep.
I didn't. I skim read it and went, cool, everyone gets a CP. Lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, even my...
You're like Oprah Winfrey. CP for everyone.
Exactly. Everyone gets CP.
Yep. Next one's hidden supplies. In this mission, players must set up 1 additional objective marker in No Man's Land. Unless the chosen battlefield mission rule is also in effect, before setting up this new objective marker, players must first remove the objective marker in the center of the battlefield, 6 inches directly towards one of the corners. So essentially you're creating splitting the center into and moving it 6 inches each side.
It's like an embryo.
It literally becomes an embryo.
It just pops into 2 and they just get drawn towards the longest the longest edges.
Basically. That's it.
You just get an extra objective mark on the table. So it makes scoring potentially easier.
Yes.
So again, that's another one where you're most likely, you and your opponent will probably max primary, so then you're looking at your secondary game to win it.
Yeah. Next one, targets of opportunity. In this mission, if a player is using tactical missions, then each time that player determines which secondary mission cards are active for them. If they have fewer than 3 active secondary mission cards, that player draws from their secondary mission deck until they have 3 secondary mission cards. And then this is the one where if you're using fixed, then in addition to 2 fixed, then you can draw another secondary mission card.
That's the one you're talking about.
That's the one I'm talking about. It's not that one.
I didn't think it was.
No, read the cards.
Yeah. Again, I've never seen that.
No, I've never seen that one.
So,
no. Yeah. And the best one that everyone sees, Chilling Rain.
Fuck all.
Yep. So
I do that all the time on stream, and it generally just says nothing happens.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there's a bad weather storm, and they've decided that you can just go out early.
Next one, Scrambler Fields. You love this one, especially with a Grey Knight player. Players.
That's why I take Inceptors now. Shoot and scoop.
Players' units with the infiltrate ability cannot be set up within range of objective marker that is either in No Man's Land or the deployment zone. Players' units with the scout ability that make a move before the first turn begins cannot end that move within range of objective marker in No Man's Land or deployment zone. If any rule is used to redeploy a unit, they cannot set on the objective marker or No Man's Land.
A really good point there is
unreserved receipt reserves.
Yeah, but in that first bullet point, it says No Man's Land objectives or opponent's deployment zone objective.
Yeah.
It doesn't say you can't land on your home objective.
That's true.
So if you say, for example, you get blown off by guard indirect, you can still drop onto your home objective. So just bear that in mind. Again, that is just a little nuance that because it's not there, you just assume it is there, but it's actually not. Because you read it and go, oh, it just says I can't land on any objectives. But what it doesn't say your home one, so it means you can. So bear that in mind.
Minefields. In this mission, each time an advance roll of 6 is made for a unit, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So
another one that's they're designed to destroy Grey Knights because they also advance 6 inches.
But you're not making a roll for it.
That's true.
So you find it's literally safe to roll.
True, that's true.
So you're not wrong. So nice one. Maelstrom of Battle. In this mission, shuffle the remaining mission rule cards together before drawing 2 new mission rule cards. If either of these new mission rule cards is Chilling Rain, discard that mission rule card and draw 2 additional new mission rule cards.
Maelstrom of Battle, you
just
never
mixing everything together. You'll never see it in competitive play.
You'll never see it in competitive play. It's definitely more of a sort of home hammer game. Just to have a laugh, really.
That's a beer and pretzel kind of one. And then the last one is Chosen Battlefield. So in this mission, all objective markers are not placed as they're shown on the deployment cards. Instead, you roll off and you
basically take turns on.
You set up. 1 has to be in the deployment zone. 1 has to be in each player's deployment zone, and the rest are set up in No Man's Land. The clever one with this one is if you are lucky enough to get the 3 objectives, and you place them all really defensively, so you can go, I can sit on all 3 being my deployment zone. You then have to roll after you've set them up. If you lose this roll off and you've placed them so they're all in your home, your opponent can then go, oh, you've done that really nicely. I'm going to have your side. Yeah,
so you've got to be really careful with this one. I've seen it happen on the top tables as well, where they've gone to castle the objectives really close to their deployment zone, and then they've rolled off for turn 1, and then they've lost the roll off, and their opponent's gone, great, I'm taking that side of the table. So when I've played this mission, I don't do that.
No.
I tend to put one close to me.
Yes.
But then I will just kind of like spread one probably close to the middle and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, if I lose this roll off and I've got all these objectives over here, I could be screwed.
Yeah.
Because if you end up on the other side of the table and your opponent's probably, I don't know, put them wherever.
Yeah.
Like the 2 other objectives, for example. He's going to put one, well, the 2 close to his end, but then there's 3 on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
So just bear that in mind. Like when you're placing them, you might lose the roll off for deployment.
Yeah.
So bear that one.
Yeah. That's all the mission.
But yeah, that's it really.
Simple.
That was just a quick little breakdown.
And it all comes down to just reading it. It's just...
Yeah, and it sounds daft, doesn't it? Like we're not teaching you how to suck
I've been
eggs,
caught out by reading it, and I do a lot of them in events. So it's, just read.
Just bear that in mind. Just double check it.
Yeah.
And also, read between the lines. Like I said, sometimes because it doesn't say it, it can happen.
Yeah.
Like
there's a lot of people that will take rules as written.
Yeah. You might call it gaming, but it's like, well, if it doesn't say you can't do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, so bear that in mind as well. Sometimes you've got to read through it a little bit and just go, well, actually, no, it doesn't say I can't do this, so I will do that.
Yes.
But that's it for this week. Nice little quick one. Yeah, that was nice. I think that was, I hope that helps. Again, let us know in the comments what you think. If you've got any ideas, want us to talk about. But that's it from us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Discord's going well at the minute.
Discord's going well. Yeah, join Discord. We'll put a link in the chat.
Yeah, the link will be in the description. Come and join us. Again, you can ask us questions on there as well. Si and I are always floating around somewhere.
Yeah. There's plenty of other active people on there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Black Crow Josh on there. You're Black Crow Simon. So you can always at us as well if you want to have a chat. Obviously, comments on YouTube as well. We both see those. So thanks from us. And we'll see you guys next week.
No.